There are moments in life when everything seems to fall apart, when time stretches endlessly, when love feels distant, and when destiny itself seems silent. But beneath that silence, something ancient and powerful is at work. It's the whisper of fate, the call that no distance, no mistake, no fear can silence. Love, in its truest form, isn't an accident. It is not born from coincidence or chance. It's a force that pulls two souls together when the universe decides they are ready to meet. Some call it destiny, others call it divine timing, but one thing remains certain. When destiny calls, nothing, not pride, not circumstance, not even time, can stand in its way. There are moments in life when we cross paths with someone and feel an inexplicable recognition, an unspoken familiarity that defies logic. You might meet them in a crowded place, exchange only a few words, and yet something within you stirs as if a memory you never lived has just awakened. That feeling is not mere coincidence. It is the invisible thread of destiny quietly pulling two souls toward one another across time, distance, and circumstance. This thread cannot be seen, but it can be felt. It is what makes you think of someone moments before they call. It's what draws you to a stranger whose energy feels like home. It's what brings certain people into your life at precisely the moment you need them most. This is not random chance. It's the choreography of the unseen world, the orchestration of events, too intricate to be accidental. Ancient cultures spoke of this mysterious connection long before science or psychology tried to explain it. In Chinese legend, there is the red thread of fate, said to be tied by the gods around the ankles of those destined to meet. The thread may stretch or tangle, but it will never break. Across oceans, the Greeks told a similar story of souls divided by the heavens, each spending their life searching for the other half. These myths are not just romantic tales, they are reflections of something we sense deep within the human spirit, that certain connections are preordained. Modern psychology hints at the same truth, though in different language, it speaks of synchronicity. Those meaningful coincidences that defy probability yet feel charged with significance. It's when you dream of someone you haven't seen in years and bump into them the next day, or when a random book, song, or event delivers a message that feels tailored for your exact moment in life. To the rational mind, these things are chance. To the intuitive heart, they are signs that the invisible thread is tugging. And yet, destiny is never about ease. It doesn't simply drop love into your lap. It leads you through lessons, through timing, through preparation. The people tied to your soul may appear and disappear like waves, each encounter meant to teach, awaken, and refine something within you. Sometimes the thread tightens with closeness, other times it loosens so that both may grow separately before reuniting stronger. The invisible thread does not pull for comfort, it pulls for evolution. Consider how often we try to control love. We chase, we cling, we force connections, as if our will could outmatch the design of destiny. But the truth is, no matter how much effort we exert, we cannot create what is not meant for us, and we cannot destroy what is destined to be. The thread knows its own path. Those meant to walk beside you will find their way, no matter the detours. And those not aligned with your journey will drift away, no matter how tightly you hold on. There is a story of two people, George and Helen, who met by accident when a letter was mistakenly delivered to the wrong address in 1950s New York. One small act of kindness led to months of correspondence, deepening into friendship and then love. When they finally met in person, they discovered they had been living just a few streets apart for years. The odds were improbable, but the thread was patient. It wound its quiet way through time, waiting for the right moment to tie their lives together. Perhaps you too have felt this in your own story. Perhaps someone from your past still occupies a space in your heart, not because you can't move on, but because something in that connection refuses to dissolve. Or maybe you've met someone new and instantly felt that sense of destiny, that rare pull that doesn't clamor for attention. It simply is. The invisible thread reminds us that love is not about possession. It is about recognition. It is the moment your soul looks at another and quietly says, "There you are." The thread is not limited by distance. You can be separated by continents, languages, or lifetimes, and still it will hum beneath the surface of your existence. Two people can live parallel lives, unaware of each other, yet every choice, every coincidence, every heartbreak may be shaping the moment they finally meet. Love, after all, does not follow our timelines. It follows its own sacred rhythm. What makes the invisible thread so powerful is its quiet certainty. It doesn't shout or demand attention. It simply endures. It teaches us patience in a world obsessed with immediacy, faith in a culture addicted to control. It asks us to trust that what is meant for us cannot miss us, no matter how long it takes or how impossible it seems, and perhaps that is destiny's greatest secret. The thread is not only between two souls, it is also within you. It pulls you toward the person you are becoming, toward the version of yourself capable of receiving the love written in your fate. Every heartbreak, every delay, every loss is not the thread breaking. It is the universe weaving it more intricately. Because sometimes before two souls can find each other, they must first find themselves. So when you sense that pull, when the air changes, when a simple glance feels timeless, trust it. The invisible thread of destiny has no need for proof or explanation. It moves through silence, through chance, through the very rhythm of your heart, guiding you toward what has always been meant for you. Every great love story is tested. It's almost as if the universe, before granting two souls the fullness of their union, must first ask, do you truly understand what love means? That question is answered, not in moments of passion or laughter, but in silence, distance, and time. These are the true tests of love, the sacred fires through which it must pass to become something eternal. Distance is often misunderstood as separation, but in truth, it is the space where love reveals its depth. Anyone can hold another's hand when they are near, but only those truly bound by the heart can hold on when the miles stretch endlessly between them. It's easy to love when the eyes meet and the voices intertwine daily. It is harder when love must exist in memory, in faith, in unseen devotion. Yet this is where real love matures, from something physical into something spiritual. When two souls are pulled apart by circumstance, a different kind of conversation begins, one that happens in silence. You begin to understand that love isn't always spoken in words, but felt through trust. You learn to listen for what isn't said, the consistency of messages, the quiet endurance of care, the invisible loyalty that refuses to fade even when life changes shape. True love doesn't crumble under silence. It learns to speak through it. Consider a couple separated by oceans. One lives beneath foreign skies, counting time by the rhythm of their loved one's messages. The other wakes before dawn just to catch a brief call before sleep. The world might see distance as a wall, but they know it's a bridge made of faith. They live in the paradox of longing and connection, their hearts stretched yet steadfast. Every sunrise and sunset becomes a shared ritual, proof that even on opposite sides of the world, they move beneath the same sky. Time, too, is a ruthless examiner of love. It erodes illusions and exposes truth. At first, love burns bright, fed by novelty and excitement, but as time passes, it asks for something more: patience, forgiveness, consistency. Time reveals whether love was built on emotion or essence. Because emotions change, essence endures. We often romanticize permanence as never-changing affection, but real love evolves. It grows as we grow. The person you loved yesterday will not be the same tomorrow, and neither will you. That's why time's test is not about staying unchanged. It's about staying connected through change. It's asking, can I still choose you as you evolve? Can I love you through your seasons, through the parts of you I do not yet understand? History is full of stories of lovers separated by time and distance who found their way back to each other. But there are also countless stories of love that did not survive these trials. And though we tend to label those endings as failures, sometimes distance reveals truth. It shows whether two souls were aligned by fate or simply by circumstance. If separation causes the bond to fade, it was never rooted deeply enough. But if distance strengthens it, then what you share is something sacred, something destined. Think of the story of Odysseus and Penelope. For 20 years he was away, at war, at sea, fighting monsters and fate. Many assumed he was lost forever, but Penelope refused to remarry. She believed not in sight, but in knowing. Her patience became an act of love. And when Odysseus returned, older and scarred, she recognized not the face, but the soul. Their love had passed through time's fire and come out purified. In our modern world, love is often measured in moments, messages sent, photos posted, plans made. We forget that the truest proof of love is endurance. It's not about how intensely you feel in a single instant, but how faithfully you remain through the quiet seasons. The test of time asks whether you can keep loving even when the excitement fades, when the world distracts you, when misunderstandings arise. Distance and time strip love of illusion. They take away the comfort of touch, the daily reassurances, and force you to see what remains when all that is gone. What is left, if it's real, is an unshakable trust, an invisible connection that cannot be explained or undone. It's the kind of love that doesn't demand constant proof, because it is the proof. Many couples crumble because they believe love must always feel alive, always burn brightly. But in truth, love often lives quietly. It's in the unseen gestures, the silent prayers for someone far away, the decision to remain loyal even when no one would blame you for letting go. Time and distance do not weaken love, they reveal its quality. Shallow love grows restless, deep love grows stronger. If you have ever loved someone and been separated by miles or years, you know the strange beauty of missing them. It hurts, yes, but it also awakens a part of you that knows love is more than presence, it's belonging. It's knowing that even if you never see them again, their imprint will live inside you. Because true love, once formed, does not vanish with absence. It becomes part of your soul's architecture. When two people are truly meant for each other, distance becomes a teacher, not a threat. It teaches them patience, resilience, and emotional independence. Time becomes an ally, shaping their love into something mature and grounded. And when they finally meet again, whether after months, years, or lifetimes, they find that nothing essential has changed. Their hearts recognize each other, as if no time had passed at all. Love that survives the tests of time and distance is not ordinary, it is elemental. It belongs to that rare realm of human connection that defies logic and circumstance. It is love stripped of illusion, proven by endurance, sanctified by longing. It is the kind of love that destiny itself watches over, knowing that nothing, not even the passing of years or the stretch of oceans, can erase what was always meant to endure. Before two souls can meet in their destined union, each must first answer a deeper summons, the inner call to become who they are truly meant to be. Love, especially the kind that is written in destiny, does not come to complete what is missing in you, it comes to mirror what has already awakened. The tragedy is that many search for love before they have discovered themselves. They wander through relationships not out of wholeness, but from emptiness, hoping another person will fill the silence within them. But destiny waits until you are ready, until you have faced yourself, until you have become capable of holding the kind of love that was always meant for you. The universe does not withhold love out of cruelty, it withholds it out of wisdom. If you have not yet learned to love your own truth, you will not recognize someone who reflects it. If you have not healed your wounds, you will interpret genuine care through the lens of fear or doubt. The inner call is the invitation to step out of the old version of yourself, the one built from survival, from masks, from expectations, and into authenticity. Because love is drawn to truth, not performance. Every heartbreak, every disappointment, every person who leaves you, is not a sign that love has abandoned you. It is a signal that you are still being shaped for something greater. You are being prepared to hold what you once could not sustain. Think of the way gold is refined. It must pass through fire again and again until the impurities burn away. Only then does it shine with its purest light. The same is true for the soul. Before destiny delivers the love meant for you, life will burn away everything that cannot coexist with that love, your fears, your insecurities, your need for validation, your illusions of control. This process is not gentle, it demands honesty. It asks you to stand in front of the mirror of your own life and confront the parts of yourself you would rather hide. The envy, the pride, the loneliness, the fear of abandonment. For it is only by facing these shadows that you gain the wisdom to love another soul without losing your own. Many people mistake attachment for love or dependency for devotion, but true love can only grow where there is freedom. And freedom begins within. There comes a moment in everyone's life when they must stop asking, when will love come to me? And start asking, who am I becoming in its absence? This is the question that transforms loneliness into purpose. Solitude ceases to be punishment and becomes a sacred classroom where you meet yourself fully. In that stillness, you begin to hear your inner voice, the one that has been whispering beneath all the noise. It tells you what you truly value, what kind of love aligns with your spirit, what boundaries you must honor. It teaches you to trust your intuition, to recognize the difference between attraction and resonance. Attraction excites you, resonance steadies you. One burns fast, the other endures. When you begin to live from that inner knowing, your energy shifts. You stop chasing love and start attracting it naturally. People who no longer align with your growth fall away, not because of rejection, but because their role in your story has been fulfilled. It can be painful watching old relationships dissolve, but that too is part of destiny's design. The universe removes what no longer nourishes you to make space for what will. It is an act of grace disguised as loss. Consider how a musician must first learn silence before mastering melody. Without discipline, every note is noise. The same is true of love. You must learn to be alone, to find harmony within yourself, before you can create it with another. When you cultivate peace inside, love ceases to be a search, it becomes a reflection. The right person will not complete you. They will recognize you. They will see the same light you've worked so hard to uncover within yourself. There is a story of a woman who spent years chasing relationships that never fulfilled her. She believed love was something she had to earn. After a painful breakup, she stopped searching and began to rebuild her life from within. She learned new skills, healed old wounds, and began to live with purpose. Years later, when she met someone new, she realized for the first time that love felt calm, not desperate. It wasn't a storm, it was a sunrise, and in that stillness she understood what destiny had been trying to teach her all along. That love was never meant to find her until she had found herself. The inner call is quiet, but relentless. It will show up as discontent in your job, as unease in your relationships, as the feeling that you are living beneath your potential. It is your soul's way of saying, there is more to you than this. And every time you ignore it, life will send reminders, challenges, endings, new beginnings, until you listen. Because the version of you that destiny wants to bless is not the one still clinging to fear or pretending to be small. It is the one who stands in truth, even when truth costs comfort. When you answer that call, everything begins to align, your energy changes, and so does what you attract. The right people appear, not because you searched harder, but because you finally matched the frequency of what you were seeking. This is the hidden architecture of destiny. Before love arrives, you must become the kind of person who can sustain it. Love is not a reward for being good, it is the natural consequence of being whole. And when you reach that state, when you become who you are meant to be, love will not have to find you. It will recognize you instantly, as if it has known you across lifetimes, waiting for you to remember who you've always been. Every love story that carries the mark of destiny eventually reaches a moment of confrontation, not with the other person, but with oneself. For love, in its truest form, is a mirror. It does not only reflect beauty and light, it also reveals the shadow, the unhealed places within the soul that long for understanding. This is why love can feel both divine and unbearable. It awakens joy, but it also stirs what has been buried. The pain, the fear, the parts of ourselves we have tried so hard to forget. The shadow and the mirror are inseparable, for one cannot exist without the other. Love shows us not only who we adore, but also who we truly are. When two souls meet on a deep, fated level, they do not just fall in love, they are exposed. The walls that once protected them begin to crumble, and in that exposure everything unresolved surfaces. The wounds of childhood, the fears of abandonment, the insecurities carefully hidden beneath confidence. All rise to the surface under love's light. It is not cruelty, it is purification. Destiny does not send us lovers merely to comfort us. It sends us mirrors to awaken us. And the person who loves you most deeply will inevitably show you the parts of yourself that you least wish to see. This is why so many people run from real love. It is far easier to stay in shallow relationships where the mirror is small and forgiving than to stand before someone who reflects your full self. A love that is destined will not allow you to remain unconscious. It demands honesty. It will hold your hand while also holding you accountable. When your partner's behavior triggers pain or anger within you, it is often not because they have created the wound, but because they have touched something that was already there. Love merely illuminates what has always been hidden in the dark. Psychologists often describe this as projection, the act of seeing in another person what we cannot face in ourselves. We accuse others of being cold, selfish, or controlling, when in truth those traits might be aspects of our own unacknowledged nature. Love, in its mysterious wisdom, uses this projection to bring us face to face with our shadow. The partner who frustrates us, challenges us, or pushes our limits is often the one our soul chose to help us grow. Through them, we are given the opportunity to integrate our hidden parts, to become more whole. Imagine someone who has always feared rejection. They meet a partner who is deeply independent, sometimes distant, and immediately that old fear is awakened. The instinct might be to blame the other person, to demand constant reassurance, to cling tighter. But if they look into the mirror instead of away from it, they will see that the real battle is not with their partner's distance, but with their own sense of unworthiness. The partner's independence is merely the mirror reflecting that fear. And once it is seen, it can be healed. Love's mirror is not there to punish us. It is there to free us. Every trigger is a teacher, every argument an invitation. When handled with awareness, these moments of reflection can transform relationships from battlegrounds into sacred spaces of growth. Instead of asking, "Why is this person hurting me?" the awakened soul asks, "What is this experience showing me about myself?" That shift in perspective changes everything. Love ceases to be about control and becomes a journey of self-discovery. There is an ancient saying, "Where there is light, there must also be shadow." To deny one is to live only half a life. The same applies to love. If you only want the warmth and not the reflection, the affection and not the accountability, then what you seek is comfort, not transformation. But love, especially the kind guided by destiny, is not here to keep you comfortable. It is here to make you whole. Think of the great lovers in history and myth. Their stories are never without struggle, for struggle is the forge in which the soul is refined. The meeting of two powerful energies always creates friction, but that friction is creative. It births growth, awareness, depth. The pain that arises in love is not the sign of something wrong. It is the sign that something deep within you is being called to evolve. A man once shared that he never knew the depth of his anger until he met the woman he loved most. Her patience and honesty became the mirror that forced him to face his suppressed rage. At first, he blamed her for provoking him, but in time, he realized she had only illuminated what he had long carried within. Through love, he learned to channel that anger into purpose. What was once destructive became strength. That is the power of the mirror. It reveals so that we may transform. To meet your destined partner is to meet your reflection in human form. They will inspire your best qualities and expose your worst. They will bring you to the heights of joy and to the edges of your pain. But if you are brave enough to keep looking into that mirror, to stay when your instinct is to run, you will find that the person before you is not your enemy, but your greatest teacher. Through them, you will begin to understand yourself in ways you never could alone. The shadow, when faced with love, does not remain darkness. It becomes light understood. The mirror of relationship does not exist to shame you, but to awaken you to your full capacity for truth and compassion. When you embrace both the shadow and the light within yourself, you become capable of seeing another with true clarity. That is when love becomes sacred, not because it is perfect, but because it is real. And in that reality, both souls are set free. There comes a moment in every soul's journey when destiny calls, a moment that feels both exhilarating and terrifying. It is not a whisper you can ignore, nor a coincidence you can rationalize away. It comes as a stirring in the heart, a deep knowing that something or someone has entered your life for a reason beyond logic. You might feel it as a magnetic pull toward a person, an opportunity, or a path that demands your whole being. And yet, the first instinct is often fear, because destiny never arrives wrapped in certainty. It arrives disguised as risk. When destiny calls, it does not ask for comfort. It asks for courage, the kind of courage that comes from the soul, not the ego. To follow destiny means to step beyond the familiar, to trust something invisible, something that cannot be proven to anyone but yourself. Many hear that call and hesitate. They calculate, doubt, and delay, waiting for clearer signs, safer timing, or guarantees of success. But destiny does not wait. It moves like a current, strong, silent, unstoppable. And the longer you resist it, the more restless your spirit becomes. Love is one of destiny's most powerful calls, and it demands the greatest courage of all. To love deeply is to risk deeply. To open your heart is to make peace with the possibility of loss. But the irony is that to deny love for fear of pain is to suffer anyway, only in a slower and lonelier way. True love, the kind written into your life by something greater than you, will not force its way in. It will wait patiently until you are brave enough to choose it. There are countless stories throughout history of people who felt that unmistakable pull of destiny and found the courage to follow it, even when everything around them said not to. Think of the couple who met across cultures, languages, and continents, who defied tradition to be together, or the person who left a secure life behind to move towards someone they knew only through a spark of intuition. These stories endure not because they are perfect, but because they speak to the timeless truth that love and purpose are stronger than fear. The universe will always test your resolve before rewarding your faith. It will place before you the appearance of obstacles, not to block your path, but to strengthen your will. When destiny calls you toward a great love, you may face disapproval, distance, or uncertainty. When it calls you toward your true purpose, you may have to leave behind security or the expectations of others. In both cases, courage becomes your passport through the unknown. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision that something else matters more. It is choosing to listen to your inner voice, even when logic protests. It is trusting the pull of your intuition, that quiet certainty that defies explanation. When destiny calls, there will be people who tell you to be realistic, to think of the risks, to stay safe. But safety and destiny rarely coexist. Everything meaningful that has ever been created, every love story that has ever defied time, began with a single act of courage. There is a quiet beauty in those who answer the call of destiny. They walk with a certain peace, not because the path is easy, but because it is right. They may stumble, fall, or be misunderstood, but they know deep down that they are moving in alignment with something sacred, and that alignment gives them strength that fear can never break. Psychologists have found that people who describe their relationships or life choices as guided by meaning are significantly happier and more resilient. They endure hardships better because they believe in the larger purpose behind their struggles. This is the power of answering destiny's call. You begin to see challenges not as punishment, but as preparation. You understand that every delay, every detour, every heartbreak is shaping you for something profound. When destiny calls, it rarely comes at the perfect moment. It might arrive when you feel unprepared, when life is messy, when your heart is still mending from the past. But that is precisely when it comes, because courage is born not in perfection, but in surrender. You are not asked to be flawless. You are asked to be faithful. There will be times when answering that call feels like stepping off a cliff. You won't know what lies ahead, only that staying where you are feels impossible. That is how destiny moves. It creates discomfort to push you toward growth. The universe is relentless in its desire to see you become who you were always meant to be. Love, especially the love that is destined, will require this same bravery. It might challenge your patience, confront your fears, or ask you to believe in connection despite distance or doubt. But courage transforms that uncertainty into faith, and faith, when nurtured by action, becomes the bridge that carries you toward your destiny. To answer destiny's call is to trust that life is wiser than your plans. It is to walk into the unknown believing that even if you fall, you will land exactly where you need to be. It is to understand that love, once meant for you, will never miss you, and that purpose, once revealed, will never let you rest until you fulfill it. In the end, courage is not about conquering fear. It is about obeying truth. It is hearing destiny's whisper and saying yes, even with trembling hands. Because every great journey, every timeless love, every soul that leaves a mark on the world began not with certainty, but with the decision to leap. And those who dare to leap discover that destiny was never a risk. It was always the path home. And so, when destiny calls, when that quiet, undeniable voice within whispers, "This is meant for you," do not turn away. Do not let fear disguise itself as logic or caution. The greatest tragedy is not in failing, but in never daring to answer the call that was made only for you. Remember, every true love, every meaningful connection, every divine encounter has been woven into the fabric of your story long before you arrived here. What is meant for you will not be lost, but it requires your participation, your willingness to listen, to trust, and to act. There will be storms, yes. There will be nights of doubt and silence. But the invisible thread of destiny is never broken. It only grows stronger through the tests of time, distance, and transformation. You are not chasing something uncertain. You are moving toward the inevitable. So, stand tall in your truth. Follow the pull that no one else can feel. Let courage be your compass and love your destination, because in the end, destiny does not reward the strongest or the cleverest. It rewards the brave. Answer the call. Step forward. The life, the love, and the purpose written for you are waiting, just beyond the edge of fear.